Hey, welcome back to Riley's Library's 12 Days of Bookmas. Again, if the quality is crappy, as I said on to film this video, I knocked my camera all over on its tripod and it broke. So I no longer have a camera. So the next couple videos for this are going to be on my phone because I can't afford to go buy another camera. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that. But today's video is the worst books I read in 2022. And we're going to go from the best of them to the worst. Okay, so I have 10 books. We're going to start off with the best of them. And that was Maybe Someday. I did give this book 3 stars, but it has a cheating trope. And I don't like that. And so for me, I literally could barely stand to get through this book. Purely because of the cheating trope. Like, did not like it, so it is on the bottom of my list this year. Next, we have Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I think I gave this 3 stars as well. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy it. And so it's at the bottom of this list because when I looked at the books I've read overall, like, I liked them better. I did read this in October because it's kind of like a Halloween type read, but I just didn't love it. Next is a controversial one, which I've given my opinion on this series more than once at this point. We have It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. I liked the first book. This book I gave 3 stars. And nothing happened in the plot of this book. Like, literally nothing happened. And it was boring. So I did not really like this book. Then we have The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A.R. Harwood. This is like, I don't even know how to explain. It's like a Cinderella retelling, I think, but with a twist. So basically I don't even know if she's technically supposed to be Cinderella. It's a fairy tale type thing. She gets wishes, but someone like dies or something terrible happens every time she uses a wish. So things start to go like really wrong. It's not that it was a bad book, but it took me a while to get through because I just wasn't interested and I was kind of bored throughout the entirety of this book. So it took me a while to like finish it and I didn't love it. I think I probably also gave this 3 stars. The next one I know is a lot of people love this book, and it is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I didn't enjoy this book. I ended up skimming it towards the end, and I probably will end up giving this away because I'm not going to read the rest of the series. I don't know. I just wasn't interested by the plot, by the characters, none of it. Like, I just did not care at all. So, there's that. Next, we have The Spanish Love Deception. I have a review up on my channel about this book. I hated it. For some reason, when I was looking, I gave it like 3 or 4 stars when I first rated it on Goodreads. And I don't know why I did that, because this is definitely like 2 stars for me. I didn't enjoy this book at all. It was weird. There was like the weird she didn't eat thing, but no one really like addressed that was a problem. Also, the pet names in this were just really cringy. Like, this was not a good book. And I know a lot of people love this book, so I'm sorry if you do. I never picked up The American Roommate Experiment either because it's the same author and I didn't like this one. But the way he calls her like pet names it was gross. Like, this was just too much and like not in a good way. So I did not like this book either. Next, we have We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. Again, at the beginning of this book, I was already kind of annoyed because of the brother she was with. And then the whole scenario goes down, and I feel like in this book, none of her options seemed realistic. Like, she was doing things that like it didn't make sense anymore. Like, I couldn't rationalize why she was doing the things she was doing. And I feel like Jenny Han really like kind of ruined the brothers. Like, their personalities swapped and there was no like explanation or backstory or character development to make it make sense. So I just feel like they just all started acting like completely different characters at this point. And I gave this 2 stars. Like, I don't even know how I finished this book. I was enraged reading it. I did not enjoy it at all. And now we have my top 3, which means they're the 3 worst books that I read. So coming in at the third worst was Maybe Not by Colin Hoover. This went with Maybe Someday, so I already was not feeling the book because of the cheating trope in the first one. This is a novella, actually, and it was boring, it was not needed, and it was too much. It was too much. Like, it literally was like fan service, I almost feel like, because people wanted to know about Warren and Bridget, and I didn't care. First off, I didn't care about their relationship at all. Like, she's literally just mean, and I just had no interest, and I was bored. I just feel like this was not needed, and there was like really no good reason for this book to be a book. So I did not like this. And Maybe Now is not on here because I actually liked Maybe Now better than the other two. That was like the only one in that series I liked. The next one is Dune Messiah. So I picked this book up because last year I had done a reading vlog reading Dune, and I did like Dune, and I was like, I'll just pick the next one up, even though I struggled reading Dune. Like, I liked it, but it was kind of hard. As you know, if you've read it, it's heavy sci-fi. Like, there's a whole appendix in the back explaining people and places, and if I have to turn to an appendix to figure out what's happening, that's a problem. And like, with the world building, they would just throw you into things and not explain how any of it works. And so it like took a while before I ever picked up. And so this one I actually think was originally written as like pieces, and then it was put into a novel. And it was written like way after the fact, I think, because they decided they wanted to make more books. And so this is supposed to bridge into the next one. I did not care about the people in this book. I probably couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in this book. It was boring, and I had literally no interest. And after this, I don't really have an interest in continuing the Dune series either, because I just like it. This was a little bit too much. Like, what even happened? Like, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. The only thing I could tell you would be a major spoiler, and I will not do it. And that part made me mad as well at the end of this book. So I no longer care about Dune. I did like the first book. I think it should have stayed as a book by itself. And I won't be continuing with this series after this. Most likely. Going in my pile next to me. And then the worst book I read this year, I rated it 2 stars because I'm not a 1-star kind of girl. And I really wanted to like this book. It is Supermarket by Bobby Hall. And if you don't know who Bobby Hall is, that's Logic. Like, is he a rapper or a singer? I'm not sure. All I know is he makes music. And he decided to write a book, apparently. And I picked it up just because I liked the cover. I don't know why. It's like just red and it says Supermarket. And this was like literally Fight Club. Like, you could have taken Fight Club and changed the names and a couple of things and been like, whoop, let's just leave Fight Club alone. Fight Club is already a thing. We didn't need another one. And it wasn't well done either. Like, I was not invested in this. And I don't know. And I think, like, the whole reason, like, he says in his author's note or in his acknowledgments that someone told him he couldn't write a book, and so he did. And I'm like, maybe you should have just not. Like, just because you can write a book doesn't mean you should, if you know what I mean. So, I didn't like this one either. It wasn't good. Also, like, the writing, like, we're just trying to read it. Like, the writing wasn't good either. And normally I'm not very picky about that. Like, I could care less. I'm not over here trying to, like, analyze a book. Like, if it reads like fan fiction, most of the time I don't care. But this, like, was hard to read at all. It was not up to standards. Okay, so that is the 10 worst books I read in 2022. And this is not to say that they were bad books necessarily. Some of them were books that other people liked or may have liked, but they were the worst books that I read because of my own personal preferences. Now, the last one, Supermarket, that's not Supermarket. This, would say, is objectively not a good book. But the rest of them, I would say, maybe someone would like them, and it's purely my opinion. I'm not saying that they're bad books. They were just the worst to me, in my personal opinion, this year. If you see me looking the exact same, tomorrow, that's because I'm going to go ahead and film my 5-star reads right now while I'm sitting here with my phone since my camera broke. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.